There is a bill pending in the Senate that would dramatically change how policing happens all over the country. It's a bill called the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act. And it passed the House in March on a mostly party line vote, mostly because one Republican did vote for it, though he later said he only voted for it by accident. Inspiring. The bill, among other things, would require body cams. It would ban military equipment for police use. It would ban no-knock warrants. It would end the kinds of special legal protections that police officers have used in court to avoid accountability for excessive use of force, and a lot more. But like I said, this bill has already passed out of the House. The lead House sponsor of this bill, Congresswoman Karen Bass of California, says she is now working with Democratic Senator Cory Booker and Republican Senator Tim Scott to try to pass that bill in the Senate. And today, more than any other time in the past, it feels like there may be momentum to actually do this. Joining us now, Congresswoman Karen Bass of California. She's the former chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. She is the lead sponsor of the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act. Congresswoman Bass, it's a pleasure to see you. Thanks for making time tonight.
Thank you.
Let me just ask you about the verdict today and how much focus turned very quickly toward your bill being the next potential step that we could take nationwide to make a real change. A lot of people talking about that today, state level leaders, faith leaders, members of the Floyd family, national leaders saying this is the thing that we could do to really make a difference.
Well, absolutely, because we see case after case, and then there's word that another case happened today. So clearly we have to do something to transform policing in the United States. I have been watching this and have been involved in this issue for decades, and it's terrible that it took the world witnessing the torture and murder of an individual to bring about this type of change. But I do feel like we're on the cusp of doing that. So I am hopeful today. I don't know what I would have done if the verdict had turned out wrong, but it didn't. And so I am hoping that the measure of hope that we all got today will be enough to get us over the finish line and put a bill on President Biden's desk.
I want to ask about the focus in the bill. And the bill has a lot of different components, but there is a focus on police officers getting training around things like implicit bias. One of the things that I found just disheartening about watching the Chauvin trial was the focus over the course of the trial on just how much training he had had, how many hundreds of hours of training that he had had. And of course, that played a role in the decision by the jury to decide whether or not he was following his training when he killed Mr. Floyd. But I wonder if there is reason to feel hopeful that some sort of different focus in training, some sort of national standards in training could make a difference in real life and not just on paper.
Well, I mean, I think it has to. I mean, you also have to take into consideration what is the type of training he received. I mean, the woman that killed Daunte Wright had been on the force for 26 years. After 26 years, don't you know the difference between a taser and a gun? So, you know, I would raise a question as to what is the type and quality of training. And you raised a key issue. There are no national standards. We have 18,000 police departments around the country, no national standards, which is why chokeholds is okay one place and another place it isn't. No-knock warrants are okay. You need to have standardized accreditation and testing for officers. We want policing to be like most other professions that have national standards, that have accountability. And so when we looked at Derek Chauvin look at the camera when he was torturing George Floyd, he did it with complete impunity because he didn't think anything was going to happen. We need to take that away, which is why qualified immunity is really important and why we have to lower the standards to prosecute officers so we won't see case after case that aren't even prosecuted.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.